Today's video will demonstrate how to build and read a crosstab in Simmons Catalyst. Simmons Catalyst is a database that contains data from the National Consumer Survey, an annual survey of U.S. consumers' buying and media habits. Once you build your crosstab, you will be able to see how consumer demographics and media use intersect with consumer habits. To access Simmons, start at the library database list and type in Simmons Catalyst. Once in the database, make sure that you are in version 2.0. If you see Launch 1.0 in the top right corner, you are in the correct version. If you see Launch 2.0 in the top right corner, click it to open up the correct version. First, click Analyze in the top left corner and select Crosstab. Next, click the drop-down menu titled Study. Then select NHCS Adult Study 12-month. This data is the most recent survey accessible and will provide you with the correct information for your crosstab. For this crosstab, we are going to figure out the best demographics for pints of ice cream. First, we will want to pick our base population because we want to find data for households that eat ice cream. Not every crosstab you create will have a base population. Scroll down to Food, Snacks/Desserts and then select Ice Cream and Sherbet. From there, select Ice Cream and Sherbet HH Eats. Now, click Yes, click Add, and then Add to Bases. Next, under the same tab, click Ice Cream and Sherbet Brands MO. This means brands the household eats most often. Here, select the brands that sell pint ice cream for comparison. Select Baskin-Robbins, Ben & Jerry's, Bluebell, Blue Bunny, and Haagen-Dazs. Once selected, click Add and then Add to Columns. It is important to remember that you will typically be instructed to put the brands or consumer behavior you are looking at in your columns. Next, select the demographics you want to examine. There are many demographic options, and the one you choose will depend on your target audience or project parameters. These demographic or lifestyle statements will typically be put in your rows. For this example, go to Lifestyle Demographics menu, click Demographics Personal Information, and select Age. When picking your age range, it is important to select the ones that fit your study the best. This data is taken from multiple surveys, so the age ranges vary. For this crosstab, select the following age ranges: 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 49, and 50 plus. Once selected, click Add, then Add to Rows. The next demographic will be gender, so click Gender, then click All, Add, and Add to Rows. Finally, select Geographics, Census Regions, All, Add, and Add to Rows for the last set of demographics. Now click Run Report. Once here, make sure to name your report so that you can access it again and know it's your data. You can also export your file to an Excel spreadsheet and look at it later. Here's how to read a crosstab. The first box, which will be just the first row and column, has the unweighted and weighted numbers for the base. These are just the people who eat ice cream. The unweighted number is the true number of responses, while the weighted number is multiplied to represent the full population. So in this example, the base is 23,049 people who eat ice cream unweighted, but 221,672 is the weighted number of people who eat ice cream. Next, move over one box to the right. In this box, these are people who eat Baskin-Robbins ice cream. So the unweighted number is 1,722 and the weighted number is 15,732. Down one row is the demographic of people aged 18 to 24. The unweighted number is 164 and the weighted number is 1,533. Now to read the vertical number. For this, read down the column, then to the left. So for this row, 9.74% of people who eat Baskin-Robbins ice cream are aged 18 to 24. The next number to read is the horizontal number. That number is read from the left, starting at the demographic, and going up. So this would be read as 6.09% of 18 to 24-year-olds eat Baskin-Robbins ice cream. Finally, let's look at the index. The index is read with 100 as the base, so all of the numbers need to be read from 100. For our 18 to 24 demographic, we have an index of 86. Since it is less than 100, we will read this as 18 to 24-year-olds are 14% less likely to eat Baskin-Robbins because 86 is 14 less than our index of 100. Going down one row, we can see that the index for 25 to 34-year-olds is 140. Since it is more than 100, we will read this as 25 to 34-year-olds are 40% more likely to eat Baskin-Robbins because 140 is 40 more than our index of 100. You would continue to read this way for all of your demographic statements for each brand. However, there are a couple of things to be aware of. If any of the results have an asterisk next to it, that means it is a small sample size and you need to be wary of using this data. If a result has 2 asterisks next to it, the sample size is too small and is deemed unstable, so it is unusable. For any help creating or reading a crosstab, please reach out to one of our librarians by going to lib.ua.edu.